Hello, everyone, and good evening. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Hope everyone is doing amazing. Oh my, oh my. Come on in. Hey, Dailies. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Come on in and have a seat. Come on in. Get comfortable. Get comfortable. Come on in. We are going to have a very good conversation tonight. Come on in. I'm so glad you're here. Come on in, everyone. Get comfortable. This is sound check, making sure everyone can hear me okay. Sound check, thumbs up. You can hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Giving everyone an actual time to get on. I know sometimes I'll start talking and then everything just seems to go so fast. Next thing I know, they're like, well, wait, what did you say? So I try to allow people to come on in and get comfortable. Come on in. Sound check. Make sure you can hear me. Hey, Dailies. Come on in. Everyone, come on in and have a seat. Welcome to SoulEclipse live tonight. We are going to have some fun and we're going to talk about some things. That's very important. So come on in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is the Carla Nicole channel. Please do not forget to subscribe, and definitely do not forget to hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I go live. I am trying to be a little more intentional when I do go live so everyone is aware and can be here when I am live. And so I just wanted to allow everyone to come on in. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Coach Carla Nicole. Please feel free to share this video, subscribe to the channel, get comfortable. We're going to have a wonderful evening tonight. We're going to talk about something that I think is very important. A lot of times we forget about how we end up being so abandoned, and not necessarily abandoned by others, but how we self-abandon. We're not staying on top of how we are not being mindful that we are not taking care of self. So come on in, get comfortable, relax, tell me hello, say who you are, tell me where you're from. Listen, you are all welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, hello, come on in. So glad you're here. Come on in. Come on in. I'm so glad you're here. Listen, it is your coach, Carla Nicole. I'm so happy that you're here. Come on in. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in and getting comfortable. So we're going to talk tonight again about the soul eclipse. Again, remember, we are in different soul phases in life. And currently we've been talking about soul eclipse, when we go in a love affair and we feel like things aren't doing very well. We're having a lot of back and forth. We're being a little difficult. We're having some things going wrong. So I want you guys to come in and just relax. It's no stress. We don't have stress over here. We keep it light and keep it moving, because at the end of the day, we want to be able to discuss some things that can really be beneficial. I'm your coach, Carla Nicole, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I go live, because listen, once I get started, there's no stopping me, okay? So just come on in. I'm so glad you're here, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, Gabe. Welcome. Come on in. Get comfortable. So listen, this is a very important live because I want to talk about how a lot of times we can get very, I would say, dry with us. We can get a little bit dry with ourselves. We don't spend time focusing on ourselves enough. And so the reason why we don't is because we're not having very good conversations with self. Okay, so let's talk about this, because listen, come in here and tell me what you're doing. And we don't have to be too outrageous with some things, but I do want to talk about some of the negotiations we're making with ourselves, and the negotiations are going way left. We're not getting what we want, and this is because we're not negotiating properly with self. And so we're having a hard time admitting, but we're abandoning our soul needs. We're abandoning our soul love for self. And we're abandoning a lot of things we shouldn't be. So I want you to come on in and get comfortable, and let's talk about this. This is nothing, it's nothing harsh about it. It's just real. We have a tendency to be like, oh, I'll deal with that later, or oh, I'm not really that bad, I'm okay. We say all kinds of stuff to ourselves. Oh, well, we're not really that bad, or oh, maybe I'm um just overly optimistic. No, you're having some issues, and we want to come to terms with them. So let's talk about how we keep making negotiations with ourselves and we're not being honest about them. How about that? Let's talk about them. Why do we stay in situations, even in love affairs, or even in family or friendships, or even in platonic relationships? Why do we stay way too long, knowing good and god darn well that we really should have left a long time ago? Why do we excuse ourselves into these things? We'll say, oh, I know, but that's just her. Or I know he's just not really that good to me, but I'll stay anyway, because what am I going to do? Get something better? Yes, you can. If you get out of that mess you're in, yes, you can. A lot of times we'll talk ourselves out of stuff and it's not benefiting us. But if we talk to someone we love or someone we care about, we'll tell them right from wrong and they shouldn't do this and that. But when it comes to ourselves, we constantly negotiate out of stuff that we know good and god darn well the stuff is not working. Why do we do this to ourselves? What's going on inside of here? And this is what I want to talk about tonight. Because no matter what, you are going with you. And we have a tendency to keep saying, I'm not really that bad, and I'm not really going to be that, you know, overwhelmed if I stay with her or stay with him, knowing that that person really isn't good for you. And you know they're not. I'm telling you because I've done it myself personally. It's taken a lot of real work to get here and where I'm at, and to advise and coach and help others, because I had to do some real work, and it doesn't happen overnight. However, we have to admit to ourselves that we're allowing certain things to go on because there's something inside of our soul that we're not facing. Something's in there that we're not facing. What is that something? And a lot of times, that something is we abandon ourselves. Do we not? Let's be honest now. Let's not make it colorful when we know we have a tendency to talk ourselves out of stuff that we shouldn't. So because of this, this is the reason why we have a tendency to feel depressed. Now, when I say depression, I'm not talking about the real clinical depression. I'm talking about when we feel gloom to where our elevated soul gets depressed, pushed down, saddened, feeling unseen, feeling unheard. That's the depression I'm talking about. I'm not talking about clinical depression because I'm not a clinician. I'm not that. I'm talking about when you depress the very elevated soul that you should be because you feel disappointed, you feel frustrated, you feel saddened because you're not getting or gaining what you believe you should be. This is because we have a tendency in our private thoughts, in our internal dialogue with self, that we negotiate ourselves out of what we should be instead of what we know it to be true. So here's the truth. Write this down. I want you to write this down because this is important. Why do we stay in situations we already know is hurting us? What's the reason? I'll write mine down. I'll tell you why I was staying, but you go ahead and put in the comments why you stayed. Why did you stay that long? And you know good and darn well that person wasn't there. Tell me, why did you stay that long? And I'm going to write down why I stayed. What was your reason? Fill me in. Working too much? Okay. Oh, and thank you for the compliment about my eyes. I'll tell you what I said. So I said the reason that I stayed longer than I should have was because of loneliness. And my other reason was because of staying for the children. I didn't want my children without having a two-parent family. So I stayed because I thought that would be the best thing. However, when we get to that place, we forget that we're escaping our own needs, knowing that that wasn't necessary. What we tend to do is we'll say and sacrifice our own needs because we're trying to look out for someone else. Be it as it may, yes, our children are important. However, if we're staying in something and suffocating or deadening our own elevation in our spirit and soul, then guess what happens? Now they have a soul that's dreading being in this world and depressed, not depression, not clinical depression, but depressing their higher self so they make their children happy or make their children comfortable. And oftentimes when we make our children comfortable, we really do a disservice long term because they see that, Mom, you're miserable. Or, Dad, why are you staying? You know this woman doesn't care about you. But we try to say we stay for the children, but we depress our very own essence and elevation in our soul because this is not someone that in the beginning worked out for us. And so we stay. We stayed too long. So like I said, my two reasons was I stayed because I was thinking that I need to look out for my kids. The other reason was loneliness. Let me tell you something. We all have our own stuff. Loneliness. What is that? Now, mind you, my bout of loneliness came from a time of in space of time when I was feeling like, I wanted someone there. To want someone there and for someone to be there because they want to be is completely different. So when you're just might as welling in your relationship, I might as well do this because, or we might as well be together because, we might as well because. I mean, some people can do that and are okay in it. But for me, I would much rather want someone that wants to be there. That's just me. I mean, I've elevated out of this thinking that I had in the beginning, which was, oh, I need to make sure I'm not alone and all this other stuff. But once you elevate and do your own soul work and soul studying, you realize that loneliness comes from soul abandonment. And that means you're not doing something in your soul to keep you fulfilled. And fulfillment in the soul means that you are focusing on why you're here. What's the reason of your existence? Why are you on the planet? What's your purpose? And when you are in pursuit of finding out that, then you start to dial back having a need to feel like you want to have someone in your life because of that mere sadness or loneliness. And you get to that space of feeling like, I just want someone here. Well, sometimes we can have somebody there and they're still not there because they're busy in their mind. They're somewhere else. They're not really one-on-one with you. And so you still, even if you have someone physically there, doesn't necessarily mean that they're there in the relationship with you. So, again, these are things that we have to come to terms with because a lot of times we're wanting to have relationships, but we're not being honest with the why. And let me just fill you in. If you're not honest about this stuff ahead of time, before you have a relationship, you will find out that once you're in the relationship, you are going to be even worse because now you have allowed someone to come in and you are demanding for so much of their attention, so much of their time, so much of them catering to you. that no matter what they do, it doesn't matter. You're never going to feel joy or gratefulness, because you're going to tend to want to have that person to constantly cater to your loneliness or the needs you don't satisfy on your own. So just keep that in mind. Now, one of the things that I want you to think about is, why do we wait for permission to get something done, to have something that we desire? Why do we wait for permission? Does anybody know? Fill me in. Anybody? Fill me in. We don't make this all about me. Why do we wait for permission to have some joy in life, to have some gratification, to be happy, to be fulfilled? Why? Anybody want to say? Anybody want to say? Lonely? Okay. I would say guilt. Do you know how many people feel guilty for feeling joy, or feeling fulfilled, or feeling admired? Believe it or not, there is what they call success guilt. If you feel joy and no one around you feels the same, you start to feeling guilty inside, internally. But yet, that's not necessary. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't okay in their joy or in their gratitude because they spend most of their time feeling guilty. Let me tell you about guilty. So when you feel guilt or you feel dread, oftentimes when you feel this, it's because you have never came to terms with being okay in fulfillment, because you never felt fulfillment unless you were what? Claimed in a relationship or something like that. So make sure that, again, you would just create a newfound understanding. I appreciate you, Dark. The Dark Attack, thank you. Think about it. We have a tendency to feel guilty because we don't want to admit that in our joy, we feel like, well, I'm looking around and no one else is happy. So I don't want to expose that I have this much joy. I feel out of place. So now when we have to look at these things, why are we feeling this? We negotiate ourselves out of our own joy because we're spending a lot of time feeling guilty about joy. So joy and gratification has to come to terms with you being okay and having a joy inside of you. This again is about soul studying. What brings you joy? Write this down. Write down in your notes, in your affirmations this evening, tonight, when you get off of this call, when you watch this again. Write down, what brings me the most joy. I'm telling you to write this down because you will be surprised and shocked how much you sacrifice your own joy and excitement for everybody else, because you're taking care of this one, you're taking care of that. Well, my son needs this, my daughter needs that, my kids need this, my mom needs that. And in that focus, you start to lose focus about, what do you need? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why do we keep putting ourselves on? You remember the old school word? We put ourselves on the back burner. Oh, we'll get to us later, but we just want everybody else happy. No. We have to sometimes put ourselves first. Remember, and I say this all the time, in the airplane, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first in order to help others. So that still applies to life. You have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Breathe in, be in contentment, be in joy, and make sure not to sacrifice what you truly need. This is why soul studying is so important. We have to sit down to ourselves and write down, what is it that I truly need? And soul needs are not about what you have to show off for other people. It's not outside of you. So let's get that off the rip now. It's not the cars, guys. It's not the purses, girls. It's not the diamonds, the jewelry. It's not the house. It's not the... All of those things are just what they are. I'm talking about soul needs. What does your soul truly need? You know, I currently do energy body work. Do you know how many single fathers come over here to get body work from me now? They are now prioritizing their own soul love, their own care, their own focus of what needs to be done. And I tell single fathers all the time, hey, you got to make sure you're looking out for you. You are the father, yes, and you are looked up to, and you're having to do and make sure of this and that. But if you're not taking care of you, my love, you are going to find yourself having a stroke, a heart attack, all kinds of stuff because you're not focusing on making sure you're prioritizing you. So I tell my gents that I do energy body work on. I just had one just leave an hour ago. I told them, listen, you have to make sure you're prioritizing what you need. Needs are not always about and wrapped around what you have. It's what this soul needs. Yes, you. Now, here's another question I want you to think about. Why do we negotiate against what our soul already knows? Why is that? What are we doing with this? We know certain things and then we'll justify why we continue to entertain it. You know this person or these people are going to have you, I'm talking about drained by the time they leave. But why do you keep allowing them to come over there? Why do you continue to date certain people or types of people when you know they drain every ounce of your vitality every time you deal with them? Why? Here's why. Because you're not prioritizing self-love. And we have a tendency to not set boundaries around our soul. Yes, we must set boundaries. Now, I know this is not easy, nor is it simple. But when something feels familiar to you, and this is for my men now, when something feels familiar, almost too familiar because you know it's toxic, and you feel comfortable in that arrangement or in that relationship or this type of group of men or friends, please tell yourself, let me pull out. This is too familiar. Because sometimes familiarity can keep you going back and dealing with it because it's familiar. So you're finding yourself comfortable there. However, comfort isn't always good. Sometimes we have to pull out from comfort. We have to get uncomfortable. We have to learn to unlearn that the discomfort is not normal. So say, for instance, you keep dealing with women, gentlemen, or even women. You keep dealing with men that are very argumentative. There's someone that doesn't bring you the best out of you. You're constantly feeling drained after intimacy with them. All of these different things. And you seem to continue to find, after you deal with that one and it's the next one, they always have the same trait. Now we got to look at you. Why? You know that trait very early on when you date them, but you keep bypassing it because you have a what? An allure for them. You're drawn in by them. You're drawn in because they're familiar, but it's not necessarily that that's the best thing for you, but it's comfortable there. This type of person is comfortable to you, but it doesn't make it that they're good for you. So now these are the reasons why I say to sit down and do soul studying so that you can determine what is it that I continue to get with and then continue to complain about later. Do you know how many gentlemen that I coach will come to me in the coaching session and I'll say, so how's everything going? How's your love life or whatever? And the first thing they start to lay out to me is the complaints about the woman they're dealing with. And I'm like, well, let me get this straight. You're frustrated by all of this list of things. Why are you dealing with this person? Well, I mean, that's not an answer. And then they'll tell me, well, I'm frustrated by this, I'm frustrated by that. I have all this going on with her and she's not this, she's not that. I'm like, but you keep dealing with her. So I'm confused. And not only am I confused, it looks like to me they're confused. But again, because it's comfortable, they keep going back and dealing with them. And I keep telling him, stop. If something's familiar and you tire of it quick and you complain of it often, then it's not good. You are negotiating with you to stay with this when you know it's not healthy. You know it's not working. This is a part of soul abandonment. We can't break free until we start to own that we are self-abandoning when we continue to negotiate out of certain types of relationships that are not healthy anymore. And we continue to deal with them anyways because we don't want to admit that this person is not healthy for us. No, they're not. So why do you keep doing it? You have to answer that. But now, in the answer, now you have to do the 3 R's. You have to first of all, the 3R spectrum that I created is reaction. Remember, don't forget now, because your reaction is number 1, your response is number 2, and your resolution is number 3. If you are not following the 3R spectrum, then you are not really going to create a correction in why you keep dealing with this type of person or with these type of feelings or with these type of scenarios. You're going to continue to be in them, unfortunately, until you're willing to come out of this nostalgia with this dysfunction. It's going to continue to be this. So if we want to elevate from something, we must first of all get honest with self. Here's what's powerful about this soul eclipse. I'm helping you to see that in this line of understanding our solar eclipse, we start to realize that we go through phases. And in our phases, we start to understanding more things about self. And when we understand things about self, we can now realize how to make differences in our ways, including in our attractions, including in how we are drawn to certain people versus just saying to our attractions. How many times have we said, well, he was attracted to me. I wasn't really into him, but you allowed the attraction because you played with it. So if you're playing with the attraction and he's attracted and you're really not, and you know this isn't going to go well, you still do it. Then you're wondering, what was I thinking? You know exactly what you were thinking. Let me go over here because it's familiar. I like that. No. We have to stop with the nonsense. We have to come to terms with a lot of times we'll be in these love affairs and we know we shouldn't be. We know a lot of this unfamiliar stuff isn't going to be really, I would say, attracted to us, because when there's a gentleman or a woman that's attracted to you that maybe is more not your speed or your type, quote unquote, they're more suitable for you because you only draw to what you've always drawn to, and you keep getting the same result in a different person. This is why, because you're not facing your truth. You tend to do this because you have spent so much time calling yourself trying to dodge, dip and dodge, and it'll be different this time when clearly it's not. You keep having the same drama over and over and over. So, with that said, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. Now, what I want you to think about is, I don't know if you've been watching currently the channel, but there is a new series called Life Be Lifin', and I brought up in this current trailer about a lady named Sarah. Now Sarah, sweetheart, she's the mom. She's devoted to her daughter, and Sarah, Sarah's all in with taking care of Emma and making sure Emma's good and making sure Emma has what she needs. However, Sarah puts Sarah on the back burner. So now she's in the dating life. She's trying to meet different gents and, getting to know. But in the meantime, Emma is her primary focus. How many single moms can relate to this? See, I have a daughter. She just turned 27. If you guys don't know, I have a daughter. She's 27, and she just turned 27. Beautiful, of course. And yeah, when I had my daughter when I was 25. I did everything by the book, of course. Had my daughter when she was 25, and being a single mom, I was devoted to being a single mom and focused. Now, I was a divorced mom, so I had her in wedlock, but the truth is the marriage didn't work, so I still had to be hands in and making sure she was this and she was that, and my main focus was parenting. Okay, but again, as a single mother, I can speak to this because I know this is what Sarah in the series called Life Be Life, and it's coming soon. She is going through it because Sarah as the character, Emma is her daughter, Emma's her life. So we as mothers always do this stuff. We focus 9 times out of 10 about our kids, about making sure they're good, making sure they need all of these things, and sacrifice ourselves and put ourselves on the back burner. Here's what's true. You can't do that and think that there's no repercussions. We got to pick our poison. Is it that we're going to be so 10 toes in with our kids that we're going to lose self in the end? Because here's what's the truth, okay? You can best believe this. Unless it's and very rarely does this not happen. Your children are going to empty and empty your nest. They're going to fly off. They're going to get into a relationship. They're going to move on. What are you going to do? Because now you have you to deal with. And when it comes down to it, when you become a mom and your nest is empty, now you got to figure out, oh God, what am I supposed to be doing now? Oh, it's now dating time, and oh, well, my goodness. All these handsome men and all this stuff, that's fine. But however, you have to have a strategy or you're going to be out here crazy because you have not spent any time studying your soul and what your soul needs are. So no matter how handsome or nice or how many dates you go on or trips he takes you on, it doesn't matter if the soul isn't good. He can be all of that in a bowl of grits. He can take you, do all the nicest things. It does not matter if your soul is empty and you're feeling so depleted because you want someone to make you happy. My love, let me tell you something that my daddy told me a long time ago. And you guys know I've been showing you guys the father files. Can nobody else make you happy but you? I'm going to say that again. Can nobody else make you happy but you? That includes your kids. As much as we love them, no one else can make you happy but yourself. So now we must sit down and figure out, okay, so what do I need to do to make sure that my soul needs are totally focusing on what I need to do to make sure I'm not lost out here trying to make sure everyone else is good and I'm a mess. So we have to come to terms with these kind of things. Okay? So, yes, when you sit down and pay attention, we cannot get so consumed around someone else. What we have to do is we have to sit down and look at ourselves. Okay? So here's something to take to the bank in cash. I'm always trying to help you guys get a little acquainted with Sarah because she's going to be coming very soon. But I want you to think about something. Something about Sarah that many of us as women have a tendency to do. We have a tendency to prioritize others, especially even in friendship, sisterhood, all of that. If you notice, and gents can confirm this, many women are going on girls' trips and all this stuff and doing all this traveling, trying to fulfill an emptiness. I'm not being a gripe or being a downer, a Debbie Downer, but I must speak to it because that's what I do. I'm raw and I'm honest. If we're doing all this trip going and we're not really fulfilling self before we do it, we're not going to have that great of a time while we're on the trips, while we're on our vacations. We won't know how to really vacate from obligation, from anything else to really actually enjoy the vacation. What does vacation have in it? Vacate. You are supposed to vacate burdens. You are supposed to vacate obligations when you go on vacation. A lot of times we don't. We still have that phone with us. We still have all the stuff we got to deal with. We still have bills to pay. All of those things should be handled before you go on vacation, on the girls' trips if that's what you want to do, or out to do, or even on your vacations with your man. You guys aren't enjoying really having time and space and peace because you still have obligations that you're not facing in the midst of calling yourself vacating from obligation. And my love, that is what you're supposed to be doing on these so-called trips or whatever you're doing. So, in that, and with that said, a lot of times we're spending so much energy on what we can get. We're not paying attention to what we have in our soul that needs watered, watered, and watered. It needs sunlight. It needs air. It needs a grounding. It needs roots. We can't get anything done if we're spending most of our time constantly griping about what we don't have. Here's the truth. In a solar eclipse, we want to be healed, but oftentimes we don't know how to do it. We're not being honest with ourselves. We have a tendency to self-deceive all the time. If you knew how many times I have to correct someone in a coaching session about their self-contradictions, your head would spin. Because they'll say one thing and then they'll say another thing in the next breath. I'm like, where did you get that from? What do you mean? You just said this and now you're saying that. I'm like, you say this stuff to yourself because you're saying it to me, which means you're trying to self-convince yourself that everything is fine when everything is not. And this is why we have a tendency to feel so saddened, so burdened, so bothered and disappointed in life. Because we're not really paying attention to our soul needs. And what we need to be doing is studying what those things are. So here's the truth. We're going to take a look at what we can do. And by all means, make sure to think about how we can get to the next level of enjoyment in life. Here's what's true. We will spend a lot of time people pleasing in this life. We'll want to people please. That's because we are insecure in our purpose. We are insecure in our soul agendas. We're just not doing well. And so what we tend to do is we will sit back and be like, you know what? I'll do whatever it takes to get to the next level of where I need to be. But then when I sit someone down and I say, well, what is your soul needs? And they're like, I don't know what those are. I'll say, well, let's take a look. Let's really look at what is it that you need? Because here's what's true. And we'll be talking about this in the Soul Allure live show. In our relationships, we're not really being clear as to what we're willing to accept and what we really are desiring. Nor are we being honest about what it is we're bringing to the table. We're not really being honest about that either, because a lot of times we'll hear someone say, I am the table. It's like, there's no such a thing, but okay. So again, we have to sit down and look at, why am I so frustrated in my love affair? What do I need to do? Sit down and think about that. Think about some of the things you need. Be honest and don't contradict. If things aren't right, be honest with you, at least you. Because you can't be honest with someone else. You will never, ever be fulfilled in any relationship if you can't tell the truth to you. And your feelings will be often hurt because no one will be accepting of you, because they won't know who the real you is, because you're so busy trying to lie to you. It's true. When you start to pay attention and learn and see what's going on with Sarah in this Life Be Lifin' show, you will see how much of you, ladies, have a tendency to do things for someone else and will totally disregard what your own needs are. Gentlemen, you will see this in Sarah. You will see this in your woman. You'll see this in your daughter. You'll see it in your sister. You'll see it in your girlfriends, your friendships. You will see these. This is real stuff. These are real scenarios in this show. And you will see it because you'll start to realize, you know what? I didn't realize how much someone really puts themselves on the back burner, including me. Yeah, me too. I'll say, oh, I'll get to me later. And I even have to stop myself and say, you can't do that. You can't. You have to start prioritizing you. You're all you got. And in this lifetime, we have to be so in gratitude that we do have the time. And while we're here, we really need to make sure we have the patience, not just with someone else, but with ourselves. If we do find ourselves writing, and we'll write down certain affirmations and questions and things we desire and what we want, but we never look at, what am I saying to myself in private? What are you saying to you? And if I'm honest, write this down. Because if you want to improve how you are opening your eyes up to this life you're not enjoying anymore, you need to write down what it is you want. How are you going to get anything any better than what it is if you don't face you? I mean, really, we got to come to a different term of agreement here with self. We have to start looking at what it is we need, what it is we desire, and then being honest with self. I'm just saying. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, listen, life does be lifing. We're not going to lie about that. But outside of that, we need to really be paying attention to what our soul needs are. And sit down. Be honest with you. It doesn't take all day to write this stuff down. Just write down something settled. You know what? I did tell myself that. Or I do say those kinds of things to myself. And then you'll realize why your love affairs start to go left, because when you present yourself in your love affair, you're presenting the version of you who you present to yourself in private. Yes, this is how we end up here. Love affairs don't just tank for no reason. We have a tendency to feel like, I don't want to admit of my faults. I don't want to admit of my vulnerability. I don't want to say anything about why I feel the way about this and that. Well, we need to have the difficult conversations. It's important. Be honest, not with them first, with yourself first, because only you have you to deal with. And if you don't start coming to terms with being honest with self, you're going to find out that no matter how you present it to your lover or how you want to, portray it, eventually it's going to come out. Because the lies are going to come out. They never stay in. Actually, they're more out loud, especially in our actions. Because when we say certain things that are contradicting, then we know that we're actually acting out in a very falsified kind of way. It's just what it is, because we can't help it. We have to be fake if we're not honest with self. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing to be. I'm just saying that we all have done it. We have all put on a pretty face, or we put on you get all groomed up and looking good, but you're a mess on the inside because you don't feel fulfilled. You don't feel like in this life you're getting everything out of it. And why not? Why is that? You have to answer that. Why are you not taking each and every second like it's your last? We say stuff all the time. This could be your last day. This could be your last time. This could be always tell people you love them. Da, da, da. Yeah, but are you doing that for you? Are you really looking in the mirror and saying, I love you first? Even in your cellulite, even in your flab or whatever you guys are complaining about, or even in your heaviness, even in your scars or whatever you got going on. None of our bodies are perfect. Even the most beautiful, most handsome people still have flaws. Maybe not physically, but they got some. Nobody's perfect on the planet. I'm just here to tell you. So we have to look at it for what it is, not for what we want it to be. And until we own the truth, until we realize, like, ooh, we have had some challenges in life, we're going to continue to have these setbacks, especially when we're despondent or we don't feel like we're enough, when clearly we are. Okay, I hope I helped someone tonight. Listen, I've been busy all day, and just in gratitude and like always, I'm here doing this to make sure you guys are together. So make sure you share the video. Sit down with this video later. Like I say all the time, watch it more than once, because really, to be honest with you, you only get so much when we're on live because you get it in real time. But once you sit down with a group of your friends and discuss and write, share it with me. I would love to hear what some of your takes are, because this is why I'm doing this, to help others to grow, to evolve. And when you do this, you find out, oh my God, I feel so much better now that I've gotten some awareness. My most important thing for my clients and you all that are on my channel is that you build awareness. Always. That's one of my biggest things. Are you building awareness? Are you able to see it in your peripheral vision? Are you opening up that third eye? Are you breathing? Are you doing your breaths? Are you paying attention? Why do you think I'm so strict all the time, saying what needs to be done? I'm saying this to help you. Another thing, if you feel like, you really want some clarity on some things, go to my wisdom line. It's 844-5-WISDOM and text the number. You can get coaching, very affordable coaching, just by texting the number. I need some clarity. Can you help me? I got a scenario I would like to get some clarity on. Very affordable pricing. Listen, I get it. The economy is not the greatest, so a lot of people are just like, I just need some clarity real quick, or if I can get a session with you, whatever you need. I am here. Trust me. 844-5-WISDOM, and you can text that number and just say, hey, Coach Carla, I saw you're live on YouTube. I'm just needing some help. Can you help me? I have a scenario. I need you to just kind of give me some guidance on. You can get it through an audio, you can get it via a video, or you can talk to me. So, there's all price ranges and for all budgets. So, again, that's an option for you to take on for yourself. And again, we go back to what I said earlier. Don't put yourself on the back burner. If you really need some help, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. Again, 844-5-WISDOM is the wisdom line. You can call it, you can text it, and you can get some clarity on some things that you may need help with, okay? I'm out of here, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified when I go live. Okay, guys, stay out of trouble. And have a very great evening. It's Thursday, no less. So we got one more day. And don't forget, tomorrow is Juneteenth. You guys enjoy your rest of your week. Have a great night. Good night.